Hey, it's D. It's a brand new episode coming right for you, right on the FTO network. Enjoy. Yes, we're back with a brand new episode of FTO Podcast. If you read the title, you know what this is about. This is about the DCU, about the James Gunn announcement. Now, I only seen parts of that announcement. I didn't see the whole thing, but we're going to try to get into all the different news of that announcement and break it down as much as we possibly can. We know there was 10 movies announced in that one announcement. We know that there's some spin-offs attached to the movie franchise. They're calling it Elseworlds. So the Joker, the Matt Reeves verse, that's all considered Elseworld. I would say also in the future of all this, after the Flash film, that the Snyderverse will also be considered. You know what? I guess it'll be more of a pre-52, the Snyderverse, as opposed to an Elseworld. But if you really play your cards right, you can find a universe that's similar to that and diverge off and make a film continuity from that as well, if you wanted to. But you know what? We'll see what happens. But yeah. So I think movies like Shazam, Aquaman, they're gonna be, a part of the past, a part of the pre-DCEU or pre-DCU, however you want to put that out there. But all these articles that I'm going to be talking about, I grabbed them all from the Nerdy Basement, and it's a lot. James Gunn and Peter Safran revealed the first 10 projects coming out of the DC studios. The Authority is getting a live-action feature film at DC Studios. Now, those of you who don't know, The Authority is a group of superheroes who kill. And this series lasted, I think, about 60 issues. It was created by the writer Warren Ellis. I think Warren Ellis did this. I'm pretty sure it was Warren Ellis. And it's a good story. It's where Apollo and Midnighter came from. And the only two characters from the Authority to really transition over to the DC Comics universe. So the Authority is getting a series. Next up, you got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, adapting Tom King's recent Supergirl comic, is in the works of DC Studios. I haven't personally read the new Supergirl. I read the Supergirl prior to this one. So the Tom King Supergirl is oblivious to me. But I can only expect it has good things, considering first off is Tom King, and secondly they want to add that film from this one story of this recent continuity. So that's something to look forward to. Next up, you got a 7-episode animated series based on DC animated creatures, Commandos, is in the works for HBO Max. Gunn has written all 7 episodes. Some characters are confirmed to cross over into the live-action feature film as well. Now, this pretty much is like Sergeant Rock kind of stuff, Frankenstein, and the Justice League Dark kind of situation. The Creature Commandos is what they're calling it. So, yeah. They're really digging in deep with all the different spectrums of from what if I want to put a category in this, they're reaching into the depths of all of the New 52 and Rebirth of the DC universe. All the stuff that all the Snyder Bros loved, and all the things that all the pre-52 fans loved when Rebirth came, and catering to those audiences. And I feel that's probably the best option to go with. If you've been following this, if you've been following DC comic books and the progression of DC Comics, you understand, this is probably the best way to go also. So you got a little bit of a template of what they're trying to do at DC Studios, but, it's still a lot more coming down the pike. Next up, a Swamp Thing film is in development at DC Studios and will close out the first chapter of the newly announced slate. So there you go. You're going to end this first phase with Swamp Thing. Like, I'm pretty sure they're going to start it out with the Flash film, probably diverge into either Supergirl or Superman for, like, the first film outside of, like, the Flashpoint crisis of Zack Snyderverse, and end it with Swamp Thing. For a lot of Swamp Thing fans out there, I know, like, comics will break your heart. Like, they are a big fan of Swamp Thing. And there are a big legion of Alan Moore Swamp Thing fans out there, too. And Ram V Swamp Thing fans. Can't exclude them. But there's a big fan of Swamp Thing fans out there. And, like, I guess I also got to talk about, like, the TV show that happened. The 10-episode TV show that was on, what was it? Like, DC Discovery? Or DC Universe? That fans loved. Like, fans raved about this. I know Crazy 8 the Great did a review about it, and, like, he, like, literally, he still talks about it in other reviews of comic book shows. Like, that's, like, his standard of outside of MCU comic book shows. So, like, a lot of people are very attached to Swamp Thing. And to end it with that, I think it's a great idea. Like, James Gunn, like, he's doing it, man. I'm not on a James Gunn train yet, but, like, he is playing the cards well. Definitely. He and Safran are doing a very, very, very good job of putting out these characters and showing us what they're going to be doing. Like, in my opinion, pretty well so far. And you guys know me. Like, it's hard to please me when it comes to DC. It really is. So, next up, Booster Gold live action adaptation series officially developed at DC Studios. This is a television show that's going to be coming out with Booster Gold. I think a while ago, James Gunn asked fans, like, hey, what characters would you guys want to see an adaptation of? And a lot of folks said Booster Gold. And, like, why wouldn't you want to see Michael in the spotlight? I'm all here for it. Booster Gold is probably one of the coolest characters out there. He is, for those of you who don't know about Booster Gold is a character from the time of the Legionnaires, so like the 31st century. He was a janitor working at a museum, at a superhero museum, and he found a time machine and a super suit, and he blasted himself into the past to try to make a name for himself. And he did, kinda, but he's kind of bumbling while he's doing it. So he's a hero who wants to be a hero, but he wants to be a hero for all the wrong reasons. And, like, he's like the Marvel analog that's in the DC universe that, like, I think MCU fans would probably gravitate towards. I wholeheartedly believe, like, he is a character who, like, all about, like, has a lot of heart, has a lot of grit, really good at being a superhero, but he has, like, the wrong intent for being a superhero. And I think a lot of MCU fans are really going to gravitate towards this character. He's one of my favorite characters, personally. So this is a check in my eyes. Next up, Viola Davis confirmed to return as Amanda Waller in Waller, HBO Max series set between season 1 and season 2 of Peacemaker. Now, if you needed a bridge for that show to talk about, this is spoilers alert for the Peacemaker season 1. All spoilers. So if you don't want to hear this, pause it and move on a couple of minutes. In the Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad and Task Force X was completely exposed at the end of Peacemaker, leaving Amanda Waller being exposed at the end of Peacemaker also. And you can't have that. You can't, like, have, like, the whole world knowing about a secret superhuman task force that is controlled by one person, and that one person being Amanda Waller. You got to fix that. You got to course correct that. And I think, like, this little bridge between season 1 and season 2 of Peacemaker is going to take care of that problem. And also, show us a little bit more in depth of Amanda Waller. If, like, we get, like, some cool superhuman characters in the process on top of it, I'm here for it. If you get a little bit more deep into, like the lore that is Amanda Waller and hanging out with Viola Davis at the same time, also here for it. So you get, like, a lot of checks with this. Like, again, James Gunn, like, is really surprising me with his slate. This is looking better than any MCU slate that I've seen in the past also. So, again, I'm biased at the MCU. I think a lot of the stories are cookie cutter in the same thing, but, like, different gloss. So, like, it's hard for me, like, to really compare these two things. And I'm a big DC guy. So, like, take that with a grain of salt. I'm trying to be as transparent as I possibly can for you guys and, like, understanding this. Next up, a Paradise Lost series adaptation is in the works at DC Studios and being described as a Game of Thrones style drama set in Themyscira. For those of you who don't know, Themyscira is also Paradise Island, which is also the home of Wonder Woman and the Amazons in the DC universe. And to have a Game of Thrones style show that talks about these characters, which also, for those of you who may not know, there are also different branches of Amazons all over the globe, and they do not follow the same ideology as the Amazon on Themyscira. So you get like different sets of Amazon, one of whom that are big inside of the DC universe named Artemis. She is one of the Amazons who has like a big, huge axe. And I think the name is Madam is the name of the axe. Like, excuse me if I forgot the name of the axe. But she uses that axe, but she's also a part of a whole different set of Amazons that is not tied, well, not in group with the Amazon of Themyscira. They have like a whole different queen, whole different set of rules, and if you introduce that to this show, I'm telling you right now, I am sold. Like 100% sold. Like, you got like different Amazons. You get like some Amazon who are not as altruistic as, say, the Amazon of Themyscira. So, yeah, like Game of Thrones style, ching. That's another check. Again, Gunn is killing it for me right now. Like, he really is. This is doing it. Next up, The Brave and the Bold officially in development and is poised to introduce a new Batman, Damian Wayne, and the Bat family. Now, I don't know if this Brave and the Bold is going to be like a movie, or it's going to be like, you know, like a mini series. Because like you can do a lot of different things. You can do like a series on HBO Max and then like pivot off and just do a movie, because that's what they're trying to do with this whole thing. Like the movies, the games, all of it's going to be branching off into like the actual proper DCU, which is what they're calling this now, DC Universe. For those of you who read comic books, you know DC Universe was like primarily made for the comic books. Like that was the DCU, because that's the DC proper. And apparently like now at DC Studios, all their films won't be called DCEU. They're going to be called just DCU. And I don't know what this Brave and the Bold is going to be attached to. Like how like they're gonna pan this out. It's going to be, again, just TV shows. It's going to be just movies. It's going to be like shorts. I don't know. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to soak up. Because like they're doing a lot, trying to overload you. And they didn't even do this with a fandom. That's like the weird thing to me. Like this wasn't a fandom. This wasn't like some big announcement like that people had like to wait to hear about. It wasn't at a Comic-Con or something like that. This is like, there you go. It's January is almost over. Here's the beginning of February. Here's all your stuff for DC. There you go. Enjoy. Talk about it for the rest of the year until all this stuff comes out. Deuces. And like say what you want about this. I do think it's going to prompt a lot of people to go see that Shazam film, even if it doesn't have any Easter eggs inside of it. Even if it doesn't have like a sting at the end. Like even if it doesn't like even tie to the Flash film. It's going to have a lot of people talking and probably going to go see that film. I would have liked for them to do this before the Black Adam thing dropped. But you know what? You got like... You take your wins with your wins, and that's just how it goes. I'm going to take a little break. We're going to come right back and talk about more about like the announcement from James Gunn.
You're listening to FTO Nerd Talk. Excellent choice. If you're looking for more nerdy content, consider giving my idiot co-host and I a chance. We are two idiots and a dog, and we talk about movies, comic books, and general pop culture and entertainment media nonsense. Give us a listen on Good Pods, Anchor, iTunes, or your podcatcher of choice. You can also find us at podpage.com/TIAAD media, or you can always find us on Twitter and we'll bribe you with dog pictures too.
And we are back. Man, they got like a lot more stuff to talk about. And like, again, it's all like TV shows. It's all part of the movies. It's all like setting up the future. Like it's still like the next 3 years they're going to be setting all this stuff up. And it's not just Batman. It's not. I haven't even like talked about Superman yet. So a lot of stuff is coming down the pike. And if you're reading the comic books right now, you know that like the Teen Titans or the Titans are now like, you know, the poster children of DC Comics right now. So a lot of stuff is changing. All that being said, here's the next bit of news at DC Studios. DC Studios scrapped Greg Berlanti's Green Lantern series for a new HBO Max series and feature film project featuring Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, and other Lanterns confirmed to appear. So that old show we kept talking about for a good minute now ain't happening anymore. It's gone. It's like we need to stop talking about it. Instead, we're going to get Hal Jordan, we're going to get Jon Stewart, we're probably going to get Guy Gardner, we're going to get Simon Baz, we're going to get Jessica Cruz, we're going to get all those guys. Cal Rayner, probably. And honestly, I feel like a lot of these can probably branch off into different TV shows, which is probably why they say like series and films. And I think we got like an article talking about in the future about some other stuff when it comes like to the Peacemaker franchise. But like if you're gonna be branching this stuff off, I can't wait to see what the casting calls are going to be with the fans, because like once they get like one or two films cast, it's going to be all legs running for like everyone. So like all the casting calls we've had before, like we had Superman, we had like as Henry Cavill, we had Ben Affleck as Batman, all that stuff is going to be different now. Like we're going to be like a whole new slew of characters like that's going to need casting calls. And like the even better thing is like with DC, they have no problem rebooting their stuff, unlike Marvel. So like someone either like gets tired of a role, or they get like, you know, probably like too aged for a certain character, reboot and start over again. Like another Flashpoint. There you go. Everything's done. Change. Like all of it. Or use magic, which I can't wait to see magic being introduced into the DC universe. That's going to be fun. Next up, Peter Safran and James Gunn stand behind a cancellation of Batgirl, saying that the film would have otherwise hurt DC. They can say that all they want. I won't know that until I watch it. So, you know, you guys can say that 1,000 times over, but you know what? Let me watch it. Let the fans be the judge of that. But again, as I've already stated, they've like Gunn and Safran have been getting a lot of checks from me with all like the news you've been hearing me drop so far. So, are they right? Probably. Leave some comments inside of this and let me know what you think. Next up, The Batman Part 2 sets October 3rd, 2025 release date. That is a year and a half away from now. Good God. Confirmed to be under DC Elseworlds banner at DC Studios. We already talked about the Elseworlds. Again, that's how, as I keep saying, as those of you who don't know what Elseworld is the brand of comic book at DC Comic Books that started in the late 80s that showed you different stories of DC comic books in different universes. So like the multiverse from Marvel, as most of you guys know, the multiverse is like different universes, like with the same characters, but different storylines. And Elseworld was like telling you stories like that, like with Kingdom Come or Gaslight by Gotham or Gotham by Gaslight and so on and so forth. Like just different stories of these characters that you know about so well, but like different things happen. Like maybe Superman didn't crash land into Metropolis or Kansas and was rescued by the Kents. Or maybe Batman got his establishment in the late or the early 1900s in England instead of America in Gotham City. Like just different stories attached to different characters. And that's what the Batman is. That's what the Joker is. All part of the Elseworld branch. Next up, James Gunn, Superman Legacy, sets July 11th, 2025. Then we see what they're doing. Release and will officially launch the new DC universe under Gunn and Safran's watch. So we still have the Aquaman 2. We still have the Shazam film. We still, disappointingly, have the Flash movie to look forward to for some of us. But Superman Legacy is starting this out. With October 3rd being for part 2 of Batman and July 11th being the start of Superman. 2 different universes, mind you. This is interesting because we haven't even got a casting for Superman yet, and they've already sent a date, which is in the same year as the Reeves-verse Batman. This is interesting, to say the least. It's ballsy. If you're talking to a person like who been endowed in this world for very long, this is a very ballsy move to do something like to put out 2 stories like this without casting or announcing who the antagonist will be inside of both films, mind you. also not telling us who the casting is for like their new flagship character, Superman. Like, we don't know any of that. And it's going to be coming out in 2025. 2023 now, that's 2 years away. Or a year and a half, for however you want to do the math on this. Like, it's pretty creeping up for us not to know anything about any of this. So I'm assuming the script is already written. The director's already cast. In DC Studios, just not announced to us yet. So this is ballsy. It really is. This is a ballsy move. Interesting how it plays out, but ballsy. Next up, James Gunn confirms that Henry Cavill was never fired since he wasn't officially recasted. Reveals that he thinks the actor is being dicked around by people in the old WB regime. I think we're going to see some remnants of Zack Snyderverse. I call it what you will. Like he just said, Cavill wasn't canceled. Like he wasn't fired because he wasn't recasted. This leads me to believe like they're going to do something with the Snyderverse. The Snyder may not be attached to it, but we may see some characters from the Snyderverse get their own film in Elseworld. Like I think that. Because why wouldn't you? You see, like, the outrage people have about, like, Henry Cavill not being casted. You see people, like, in threads on Twitter right now saying, like, man, this sounds really cool. Also, that Safran and Gunn are doing, but I really wish Cavill was a part of this. Like, they're still saying this. That's money in like, DC, Warner Brothers, DC Studios pockets. Like, period. We're going to see these characters again. It may be, like, in a Kingdom Come type style. Like, you know, they're going to be aged a little bit, some gray hairs. They're going to have kids and all that kind of stuff. And like, you're going to see like their stories in the Snyderverse. But I definitely think we're not done with the Snyderverse characters. I don't think that. Like even the way, I did a story about this where Jason Momoa talked about how he can play different characters. He is Aquaman. He's going to keep on being Aquaman, but he can be other characters too. Like Lobo, hinting at Lobo. But he's still going to be Aquaman. Why would he say something cryptic like that? Unless like we're going to keep on getting Aquaman films or a TV show, and also get Lobo in a different universe. It's like, come on, like I know you guys have to think so too. I can't be the only one who thinks this. Next up, James Gunn and Peter Safran wants to cast actors who can work in film and television, alluding at John Cena and Viola Davis. This is to allow a more fluid and interconnected universe. Animated characters can appear in live action and vice versa. So that, technically, already, Harley Quinn would be seen as an Elseworld character. We do have like that Commandos, the Creature Commandos story that's probably going to be animated. Like, right? But those voice actors could be casted by film actors as well. They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot. And like we haven't even talked about the video games yet. So this is interesting. This is a lot to comprehend. And like it's gonna have like some of these comic book fans like tossing and turning in their bed thinking about like the future of this. Cause like this is interesting and it's leaps and bounds of what we're hearing from the MCU. Not to compare, but we haven't seen this at the MCU yet. This is like pretty big. I think the closest we've gotten to this is like the What If series and like the actual, I guess, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. So maybe they have done some things like this, but this seems to be like their brand is this, not just like a couple like sneak peeks of certain things here and there. I mean, I guess, yeah, Disney Plus is doing the same thing with Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, all that stuff. So they are like kind of like going that, or started that same route. But this feels different. To be banking on this and interconnecting all this stuff and like making sure everyone knows all this stuff is connected. It just feels different than having it just like being exposed to you like at the MCU. But again, maybe I'm biased. So this is news I don't really care about, but I'll tell it to you anyway. Superman and Lois will continue to air for 1 or 2 more seasons, confirms James Gunn. Don't care. Like, Tyler, in like his weak Superman, he's a step ahead of Dean Cain in my eyes. As I talked about before, that Nadri Tucker situation, don't care. So I don't care about this show. I'm not watching this show. Like, if he's closer to the 1 million Superman, congratulations to him. Don't give a damn. Can't wait for the show to end so I can stop talking about it. Next story. DC star Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot, and Zachary Levi and Jason Momoa all capable of continuing to portray their respective roles at DC. Nothing is prohibiting that. This is a quote from James Gunn. First off, Ezra Miller, they need to be put away somewhere and not playing this character. I don't care how much treatment they've gone through. Like, what they've done is deplorable, and we need to stop putting them on blast. Like, period. Like, stop shouting them out as, like, one of the flagship characters. I don't care how quintessential they are to this role. Like, we gotta stop doing that. Next up, all the other ones, like Gal Gadot coming back as Wonder Woman. That's cool. Give us a new Aurora Flora. Give us a Nubia. Mix up the Wonder Womans. You got a lot of them to throw them out there. So, you know what? Just start mixing them up. And, like, hearing about Zachary Levi, like, he's Shazam. Like, let's just be real. Like he embodies that character. But Jason Momoa being talked about in this also, like, that makes me think again. You got like some Elseworlds, some Zack Snyder going on. I mean, let's call it what it is. You got like some Zack Snyder going on in the background, right? I mean, come on, man. Just be upfront. If you be real with me, I'll be real with you. Let you know, like, where I'm at. Because before we got a lot of checks. Now we got like a little, like, you know, some dashes going on. Gotta fix that. Next up, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Superman that is black. That's not what it says on this, but that's how I'm going to word it. Film confirmed to be part of DC Studios, DC Elseworlds banner. Awesome. Stop calling characters the black anything. Like, it says the black Superman. I don't like that. Like, he's not the black Superman. Like, he is Superman of a different universe who has a whole different origin story than Clark Kent. Like, he's not the black Superman. He is Superman who just happens to be black. Like, stop doing that. All of you. Stop calling characters like the black this, the Mexican that. I don't care, like, musicians or public figures use that figure of speech. It's offensive. Period. Like, just stop doing that. Like, oh, look at this character. This character of this comic book I created is a black blah blah blah. Like, don't demean yourself by calling, like, a character, especially a character you created, the black XYZ. Like, don't do that. Like, it's not the flex you think it is. Next up, Teen Titans Go confirmed to be a part of DC Studios' DC Elseworlds banner. I mean, aren't they already? After that film of theirs that they came out, the Teen Titan Go film that merged every other Teen Titans together, and, like, they literally, like, interacted and talk about, like, how they are part of different universes. Like, I thought that was already the case, but now it's official. So if you're ever watching Teen Titans Go, there's your stamp. But I think that is it for all of the stories that we have right now. I'm going to see if I can find one more bit of information before I end this, because I do know that there's one company out there that had a list of all of the shows and movies that's supposed to be coming out that I may have missed, because I do that. I miss stuff sometimes. The list is Superman Legacy, Brave and the Bold, Swamp Thing, The Authority, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Waller, Lanterns, Creature Commandos, Booster Gold, and Paradise Lost. I didn't miss anything. Like, I've covered all of it. But that is the rundown. That is the lowdown of all of your DC goodness. Can't believe I did a whole episode about DC and, like, their new slate of films that are coming out. Film, TV shows, and animation. That's coming out soon. Thank you to the Nerdy Basement for providing all of this. Also, I got a double confirmation from Two Black Nerds, their page as well. You may be saying to yourself, D, why didn't you do this with FTO and post it out there? Because, you know what? I'm not trying, like, to play favorites. Like, I don't do the kind of stuff for Marvel. I just don't. And I'm not going to do it for DC either. So, like, I will do an episode on my podcast about this kind of stuff, but I'm not going to, like, you know, I'm not going to play that let's get hype game. Because when you get things hyped up, fans get hyped, and then you get disappointed. And I'm not playing that game. I'm just not. So, all altogether, all the articles I talked about, it was 20 headlines from the Nerdy Basement that I talked about. 20. And they made 2 posts about this with 10 in each post on Instagram. Like, all I'm saying is, like, DC is hyping this up. If you don't see that, I'm letting you know right now. They're hyping this. Like, they want to be on the same par as Marvel. And they know that some fans are starting to wane from, like, the superhero fatigue, which I believe is a real thing. Does that mean that superhero films are getting boring or stale, or like we're getting tired of them? Are you getting tired of action films? Are you getting tired of dramas or sci-fis or horror films? Like, it's a genre now. Like, superhero films, like, not only is it a genre, it's also a genre in a spectrum. Like, there's flat out capes in superhero films. There's dark, brooding, indie superhero films. There's also realistic style superhero films, and like everything in between of all of that. So like there's a spectrum of superhero films. It's not just one type of superhero film. Like, we got like Dark Horse making films, we got Image Comic Books making films and TV shows. You get like different companies making different types. We got a Red Sonja film coming out soon. Invincible's coming back for a second season. You get like a different spectrum of superhero films. And like pretty soon we're gonna have a spectrum of video game films and TV shows also. Like, it's a genre. Like, you may be getting tired of it, but like you get like other stuff to keep your time. And I think that's the point. Like, is to make this a genre. And like, you know, if you like this genre, you'll check it out. If you want to watch a drama, you'll check that out. And that's the future. That's the future. That is the lowdown. I wish I had more to talk about when it comes like to my day in, day out, like I used to do at the end of the show. But like this here has been on my mind a lot. The James Gunn situation definitely been on my mind quite a bit. Shouldn't be, but it is. And like, you know, as I talked about before with a hype train, like, I didn't want to be a part of it, but toot, here I am in it. But I will say about what I said. I made a TikTok recently about Amazo. I want to see the Amazo. Like, the antagonist, let the antagonist be Amazo. Give us some Mongol, give us some Cheetah, some Black Manta, you know, like the fan faves. You feel me? Maybe some Brainiac. But you got to do one phase where Amazo is just wrecking everyone's lives, because that's what Amazo does. So if you don't know who Amazo is, check out that character. Watch the Justice League episode, Justice League Unlimited episode, to find out more about Amazo. I just think like it was the Justice League show, and then he came back in the Justice League Unlimited show, if I'm correct. But Amazo is a fantastic character. I almost said amazing. That would have been too much. Too much to put amazing on Amazo. Like, you're just playing with words. But I want to see that. I'm trying not to laugh at my own jokes. That's like one of my things I'm trying not to do this year. And if you're still listening to this, hi. I hope you're well. I know this week has been rough. It's been tough. If you're black and you've been following the news, you know about Tyree Nichols and how that situation went down. Pooh, man. All right. It's hard, like, to gravitate your feelings about this, like, to put into words, to talk about, like, you know, the sheer volume of vitriol towards this entire situation. It was like 5 black cops and 1 white cop going at this situation, and like, it did not end well at all. Like, you think to yourself, internalized racism. You think like herd mentality. You think the culture of police force. And like, we can say all this, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but like, nothing's gonna get done. Like, simply because like the person who's in charge of this literally said they're not gonna do anything about this because there's nothing they can do about this. Talking about you, Jim Jordan. Like, you know who you are. You're a scumbag. So, vote. If you want like real change, like literally you gotta vote. You literally saw the process of voting for the majority leader happen this go around. It took 15 votes for that to happen. That's because like the Republicans are disordered, And they probably shouldn't have got elected in the first place. So if you vote this next coming election and you want things to really change, like, change happens when you vote. Yes, I do realize there are so many suppressions out there for voting, and it hasn't stopped. But you know what? I shouldn't stop you from voicing your opinion and voting. Because, like, stuff need to change, man. We need, like, a child tax credit. We need like a pre-K free for everyone. Like it needs to happen. Like free lunches for kids. This is like simple stuff. It's 2023, man. We shouldn't be fighting about this stuff anymore. This is ridiculous. And instead, like, even have like a conversation about this, like to talk about like opposing opinions. Have your opinions, but don't let it affect people's lives. Like homelessness is spiking. A lot of layoffs are happening, like all over. Gas prices going back up. Eggs is $10 for 12. Are you kidding me? This is insane. So a lot of you may be saying right now, like, why are you talking about politics right now? Because politics matter. Like the whole basis of comic books was based on politics. Superman came out in 1939 because of the politics of the world. Like he is supposed to be a beacon of hope to make sure that like the things that happen in politics are taken care of, because like he is like your voice. He is your example to keep doing what you're supposed to be doing and standing for truth and justice. So say what you want. That is the allegory of Superman. Like it's to stand for like, you know, quote unquote, the American way, which has been very diluted and watered down, and money has just been thrown on top of it like a coat to let someone walk over. That is what it is. But I'm going into a tirade, passing the rant, passing like the diarrhea of the mouth. I am just going on a tirade. So I want to stop. Going to again say, like, I hope your weekend goes well. I hope you enjoyed like this recap about this and my opinions about each one of these properties at DCU. DC Studios, I'm hoping you do well. I have not forgiven James Gunn for what he's done in the past, but you know what? It's been a couple of years. He's kept himself in the spotlight. He's not reverted back to those ways. So you know what? After a while, you just kind of like accept someone for their changes and go forward. So let's see how this goes. This is D of FTO Nerd Talk. I hope you all have a good one. Until next time, take it easy. Hey guys, D here of FTO Nerd Talk. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends about FTO Nerd Talk. Got a lot of different shows for all of you. Make sure you tune in every week for a brand new episode. Take it easy.